Hello and welcome to my video today. I got a new package in from Electrified Ocean, and this is the mailer that came to me. Pretty compact bubble wrap bag, and we can see the little label on here, and it says fob shell replacement. And then we also have a little QR code here with an installation video, so we can check that out. So let's get started with the video. Before I open up the package, I want to show you my current key fob. This is the original one that is about 13 months old. You can see it is pretty beat up. In a previous video, I showed you that I tried to fix up the buttons by using some white marker on it and then putting some matte nail polish finish on top of it to keep it a little bit protected from day-to-day use. But as you can see, it is looking kind of rough right now. The buttons are, as you can see right here, and this is the main reason why we are getting this new cover today, is to replace this current one. And this is what my key fob looks like right now. The back of it actually looks pretty good. This is just a metal sticker on the back, by the way. Compare this to my new key fob that I got about a couple months ago, and you can see quite a bit of difference. This one I keep as a backup in the house in a lockbox, so it's kept in pretty good condition, so I'm not going to be bothering replacing the cover on this one. So I just purchased one cover for the original, and I'm going to be taking this one off. So just to give you an idea of what it looks like from new to over a year old, yeah, it's definitely time to replace this one. So let me open up the bag that we got in. And inside we have a receipt. I'm going to put that aside. And the cover comes in a little plastic bag here. Let's take that out. And as you can see, this is the inside of it, and it is soft material here. Flexible. You can see the little indentations for where the buttons are. California mode button there. And then here is the outside. So this is the big difference we have, is the buttons are raised now. Instead of just using paint to signify the buttons, we have these raised logos. So pretty nice. In fact, I wish this was even better if they painted the top of these raised logos. It would make it stick out a little bit more contrast if you're looking at it for example, if you're not familiar with the key fob and it's dark, it's a little bit hard to see actually. But as an owner, you pretty much over time memorize that your lock button is right and your unlock is left. These are the two buttons you used most often that I find. And then lastly, liftgate. That's my third most used button. So one thing I want to point out is, looking at it from underside, you'll see these little tabs here, and these tabs are what keeps this cover attached to the key fob. So there are one long tab in the front, two in the middle, there's on the sides, and also on the back you can see that there's tabs. So that's what's going to be attaching this to the key fob. So let's put that over here. You don't necessarily need any tools for this project, but it may be easier if you had a flathead screwdriver, plastic pry bar, such as this one that I've had for many different projects. May help you in getting the cover off and installing it on the key fob. All right, so here is the key fob. First thing we need to do is take off the cover. So we're going to turn it over, and we're going to start from the key ring metal side here, and we're going to push it towards the left. So all you need to do is press your finger and then push, and it will slide it forward, and then you just angle the front, then pop it up, and then it should slide right off. Since my car is right behind me, I'm going to pop out the battery so that I don't accidentally lock or unlock the car. So take that, put that aside. So here is the key with the back off of it. And as you can see, the cover, there are those little tabs that hold it in place all around the edges. There are a couple different ways of removing this, but I think the easiest way to get it off is to start at the front. So what you're going to do is just pull down the cover on the edge here. You should be able to do that just by pressing in, and then it should, see, it's flexible right there. And then once you get your hand in there, just pull it around the edge of the front, and then you'll see that it becomes free like that. And since it is flexible, you can just bend it, get it, all those tabs off, and then the very end of it is on the back here. There's 2 tabs in the back, and what you need to do is just fold it like this, and they should unsnap, or you may have to press on them to get them out. See, I'm just going to wiggle it, and then it comes free. So that is the cover. So just in case you haven't seen the inside of the key fob, that was the button there for California mode, and then the other 4 buttons here, there's little plastic pieces here for, I guess, the so you can activate the button. And then let's compare the inside of this to the new cover. So if you look at these side by side, they are pretty much identical. Slight differences in, I guess, how this was formed, but the basics are the same. You get that line through there to separate the buttons. Got the little tabs along the edges to keep it in place. And of course, the big difference is on the outside. The button shapes are the same. However, these are now raised versus the flat painted ones on the original. So yeah, there we go. The finish also looks very similar too. If I look at the end here where I have the unfinished portion, yeah, they both basically have the same matte finish. So yeah, say goodbye to the original cover. You can keep this as a backup, or you can send it to recycling. All right, so there are a couple different ways of doing this. You could attach the cover starting from the front or starting from the back. I've tried both ways, and you still have to flip the end, either the front at the end or the back at the end. It's easier to use one of my little plastic pry bars to do that final fitment of that tab over the edge. So let me show you doing it from the front. Let me get that right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this like this, and I'm going to slide it in to the opening like so. And by doing this, it gets all the tabs in place on the front, or at least greatly assists doing that, so that you can just pop them over the edge right here and here. So let me get that one going on this side. You can just bend this and then place it over the edge here. And then just kind of bend this all around. And this should all snap into place. The front here, like I said, just push it in. And then it should be in the final position here. So let me get this left side here a little bit over the edge. Just need your fingernails to do that. Shouldn't be too hard. Just press it along there. Press it along there. It should all snap into place. And now for the final part, we have the back right here. You can use the plastic pry bar here and just pull it around the edge like that, and then it will also snap into place. So let me show you how to do that. Just pull around the edge like so. Got the one side on, and I just need to get the other side. Just flip it. Hard to do this right now because I'm hitting my camera. Trying to do this without touching the camera. So just push it like this. And then you can look right here at the end. Just push it with your finger, and these two will go into their openings. So that's it. So yeah, so now we have all the tabs in place. Like I mentioned, you can do the opposite direction by putting the tabs on the back first and then folding around the front, and then you just need to flip the front. I'll show that as a second video real quick after this one, just so you can see both methods. So as we can tell right here, there may be some sections where the tab is showing. Just press them in. For example, just around the metal right here, you can push that in just underneath that key ring. That will snap into place. Just in case I need to check the other side, if that isn't fully seated, just press that in. And then just look around all the edges, make sure all the tabs are completely installed. Looks pretty good. So at this point, I can put the battery back in. And take the back cover. Place it so that it is right around here. You'll hear it snap, and then press it towards the key loop, and then that will snap into place. Now here is the final look. The cover, you can see it is all smooth around the edges. And there we go. So yeah, so this is the new cover for the key fob, fully installed. As you can see, it only takes a minute or two to get it installed. Not a big deal. Just take your time, and whichever method you want to use, installing it from the front side or the back side, doesn't really matter too much. Just make sure you get all the tabs seated underneath so that none are exposed and that this will stay on. So yeah, so I hope to get plenty of life out of this one with no fear of the paint coming off of the buttons. So I purchased this from Chad at electrifiedocean.com. You can also get one from him too, and you can also purchase them from the Fisker Owners Association at the tsunamiautomotive.com website. In fact, I've ordered one from that site too, but it hasn't arrived yet. I ordered it a couple months ago and I'm still waiting for it. However, Electrified Ocean, I just ordered this seriously like not even more than a week ago, and it already arrived. So Chad had these in stock and shipped it out quickly to me. So just FYI on the purchase situation, that's what you can do. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, so what we're going to do is put the new cover on, and we're going to go in the reverse direction. We're going to go from the back to the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to angle the cover on just like I did when I removed it. So I'm going to angle it over the edge here. And if you look, you can see that it is fitting over this right here. So I'm going to angle that in there. So let me do that right now. All right, a little bit tricky. You may want to use the little plastic pry bar here to wedge it back on. I'm going to do that. Save myself a little bit of my fingers. So yeah, so if you see what I just did there, I just snapped in the tab into the back of the key fob. So now the back portion is now in, and then you can see now it's just, we need to start pushing the top into place. You can start pushing the tabs around the corner. Tabs around the corner on this side, and then tabs around the corner on that side. Feel free to bend it because it is kind of rubberized. And then if you have any of these tabs aren't going in, you can just poke them underneath. For example, like this, I'm just going to poke it underneath the metal and it snaps into place. I'm going to do that on this side too. Just snap it under the metal and then that goes into place. And then now I am going to still keep on pushing all these tabs into place along the top. You may want to use the little plastic pry bar to wedge the front of it so it goes over the lip. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to wedge this forward. And it should snap into place. All right, got most of it here. That very little edge here at the front is being a little difficult. All right, there I go. I snapped it right over the edge on that side. Now I'm going to snap it on this side. So there we go. So what you want to make sure is that it covers the entire edge here. You don't have any gaps. And it is smooth. So we are good. Just feel around the edge, make sure that all the tabs are in place. And once you have that, you are ready to put everything back together again. So I am going to pop my battery back in. And then I'm going to take the cover, place it along here. And then push it in. It locks into place.